Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? Peasant chat. Poor people we talk to. Poor people. I hate that. Like the first time you talk all day, you sound like shit. Today we're going to talk about Corvette teasing Nürburgring times. Now, this channel doesn't give two shits about Nürburgring times or road racing. Why? It doesn't matter. Let's be honest. In the United States, the allure of road racing just doesn't hit the same. Maybe in Germany or any other part of the world, it's like soccer. It's big everywhere else, and it's good size here in the U.S. too, but it's not that important. It pales in comparison. Football, basketball, and baseball. We have other things. It's just like in America. We have other things. We have drag racing, donk racing, back half racing, reverse racing, drag racing, in snow and mud. So at the end of the day, road racing doesn't matter, but it matters to me because I think Corvette is teasing Nürburgring times because they've done something special. And I don't know this. Obviously, nobody has an actual concrete time that they've run, but something tells me it's going to not only beat the GTD, I think it's going to easily beat the GTD. Now, what is easily beat? We'll talk about that. And then we're also going to talk about on Instagram and every other social media platform, when you get into internet arguments, I've already said that people use ChatGPT for their answers. And over the week, actually after Thursday, two days passed and more comments because Tukes released another clip of me saying that the Mustang only sold about 5,000 units. But that was the last thing I saw was in March. And then a person that works for Ford Performance chimed in and said I was wrong. And then it made me look up the current sales. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is going to be a good time. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it live.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
It does suck. But you know what doesn't suck? PMAS. That's right. The best cold air intakes and map sensors for your Ford platform. You're going to go to PMAS every single time I tell somebody to upgrade their current cold air to a PMAS. All other issues go away. The car idles better. It tunes better. Maybe it's not going to make more power, but it has a vastly improved signal so that it makes your car drive better and my tuning life easier. Get a PMAS cold air or map sensor. D&H Performance, D&Hperformance.com. Get your PMAS cold air there. Get your map sensors there. Get your 4 Innovations fuel systems there. Get your wheels there, tires there, anything. Amory cups. If you spend $1,000, say you're part of Amory, YDBT, you're gonna get a discount. The online parts house sponsor of the show, Parts Farm, partsfarm.com. Use parts again, YDBT. If you're gonna save some money over there, hashtag YDBT for used Camaro, Mustang, F-150, Challenger, Charger, you name it. Get your parts over at partsfarm.com. They deliver anywhere in the U.S. If you want it shipped anywhere else, like Canada, you're fucked. You're going to have to sign War and Peace to get it over to you. Just buy it in the U.S. To Auto Solution, he is in the Dominican Republic trying to help out. Oh, boy, do they need help in the Dominican Republic. Holy shit. Thankfully, Rami Dana is over there doing the Lord's work. And Bellick Industries, the best wheel. If you want to let everyone know you sell drugs and go drag racing to cure your gambling habit, I think it's a good idea to let everyone know that you get that you're a psycho. Actually, the funny thing is I actually recently just bought another vehicle because I want to just do 850 stuff, and this one is literally turnkey ready to go, and it's an insanely high quality build, and I thought it was too good to pass up. Nick, Maniac, Yusuf, Ian Martha is my guy on Instagram. He goes in there and starts slamming people. He immediately goes in and goes, fuck you, you're gay. I'm like, yes, I love it. Be the best, Frank Donahue, Yusuf, Z303, Camzilla, Monty 540, CPR, Andrew, Costa Zampis, Joe Jackson, John Jones, Carlos Bahena, Joe Swish, EPA in the house, Clean 93 GT, Chris Jameson, Clint Stroke a couple of times, RPG, Coyote, Kelly, Bryson with the Rich Prince links, the Patreon links. Again, I always forget, but the good thing is Bryson is there to remind me that richprince.com, if you want to support the kid, if you want to get actual merchandise to show your support for the show, You simply go to richprints.com. You got hats, you got Section 8 shirts, Section 8 shirts, hoodies, long sleeve, short sleeve, save the manuals, Gen 1, 2, 3, and 350, 8586 Fox, 8793 Fox, 1320 Didios, F1320, YDBT in red, gray, bro. Just absolutely wonderful. I literally bought hundreds of dollars in shirts because they fit great. It's a good gym shirt. And honestly, I want to support Rich Prince because they're doing me the favor. I don't have to stock the stuff. RPG, GT, JD Swag, Six Hill, Alfredo Diaz, 50 Stallion, Oliver Bryan, I'm Hunk Solo, Oliver Bryan 15 times. Jason, JD Swag, Craig Wall, Sam, Anthony, Gregory Ovich, Clicks Champion. I don't know what the hell that says there. I don't know what the fuck this says. Scott Andrews, Nick, Bowman, Junk, Mail, Native Shift, and all the usual. Head Games Motorworks, Ian Martha in the house. Grand, Coyote, Troy Jetson, Mark, it's a 10R80, you're a non-driver motherfucker, and Agent Orange. Now, I'm going to take you back on the way, way long ago machine when the GTD was first teased back in 2023. So 2023, Jim Farley has the bright idea to make a $300,000 Mustang. Like anybody is asking for that, right? So he, for whatever reason, has a hair up his ass about Porsche. He's always been the Porsche guy. Excuse me. And for whatever reason, he wants to make Ford Mustang like the Porsche, which nobody wants. You want a Porsche? You buy a Porsche. It's already out there. Nobody is going, let's compete with Porsche by making stuff Porsche makes. Nobody wants that, but for whatever reason, he has a hair up his ass to get that done. And all you have to do is read a couple of sentences in that shows you that this is an obsession with Jim Farley. Jim Farley leads the way. Jim Farley is the one that, in my opinion, is killing the Mustang. And this is a reason. This is a $300,000+ car. If you order it with the non-performance package, you got to pay $20,000 for the splitter after the fact. Like, people are trying to get around paying premium for the car in its performance package model by ordering the base version and then trying to order the stuff afterwards. Ford's gonna get their money, aka Multimatic. It's so stupid. And in 2023, it says the Ford Mustang GTD race car and the 25 GTD are the fulfillment of a longtime dream of Ford CEO racer Jim Farley. And his quotes: "This car has been in my head for 5 decades. Congratulate." He goes, Farley said, "I want to see Porsche and I want to see Aston Martin and Mercedes sweat." They are not sweating. They're not sweating. You know who they're sweating? This. That is what Porsche is sweating. Why? Because that cuts directly into their demographic. A supremely powerful car, a option that is at about the same level, a trim package that is diverse as hell. Now, if you're a psycho Porsche guy, you know everything about the 991, 992.1.2.1.2-1. Who the fuck knows? Apostrophe 1. Who the fuck knows? But they have so many options when it comes to, a platform. Now, let's talk about Mustang. Mustang, you get the EcoBoost. Nobody gives a fuck. A GT and a GT with 5 more horsepower called the... Okay, a GT and then another GT with badging that costs $25,000 more dollars. And then that's it. You're done. Se acabó el party. Oh, yeah. You go from $80,000 to $300,000+ Multimatic specialty built Mustang. Awesome. Porsche. I'm sure they have 30 different options of the same chassis vehicle and varying power differences, aero packages, performance packages, 3RS, GT3, GT2, all that bullshit. Corvette, Stingray. They have, I'm sure, 17 versions of that Stingray, right? Configurable. They have the Z06. They have the E-Ray. They have the ZR1. They have the ZR1X. I don't fucking know what the hell you guys are doing comparing Ford Mustang to GT to Porsche. So in my opinion, all of this is the fault of Jim Farley. And that's why I said Jim Farley has absolutely got to go, because he is the one spearheading the failure of this Mustang. Now, in the Street Alpha podcast, I ended up saying, because the last figures I heard were that Ford had sold like 5,000 units of the 2025 Mustang. 25. Perfect. In quarter one of 2025, according to Google, which, you know, they have a bit of a, yeah, they have reference material from Ford Authority. I, on Instagram, got fact-checked by someone that works at Ford. The guy's name is, I think, Marcus Cervantes. He has a 2-valve in his profile picture. Said Ford sold 9,377 Mustangs in quarter one of 2025 versus the 5,000 mentioned. Almost double. Okay, so then unfortunately for him, it made me look it up. And Ford sold, so he gave me this number, 9,377. Google from Ford Authority said Ford sold 9,377 Mustangs in the United States during the first quarter of 2025, according to Ford Authority. This figure represents a 32% decrease compared to the 13,707 units sold in the same period of time. So do me a favor, Marcus. If you're going to fact check me, make sure you fact check me in the positive. By you commenting that, it made me look it up. And it's worse than I thought. I thought they were only 19% down year over year. They are 31% down year over year. Big fuck up. Big fuck up. Should have just shut your fingers up. Should have been like, let me not get into this because sales are actually way worse than he's mentioning, because he thinks it's 5,000. And the last sales figures I saw were in March. And he was like, it sold almost double. It sold almost double, yes. But then that's full quarter one, which probably came out weeks ago when I was looking at March sales figures. And now you figure out that it is selling way worse than he actually, than I thought. I thought it was 19 or 20% down, 32% down in sales. Just yet again proving that people on Instagram should not try to fact check. People on Instagram should not try to tell me it's the price. It's what you're getting for the price. And this is 100% falling on the heels of Jim Farley, because he is spearheading the effort of what Mustang is, and it's a failing enterprise. Thank God the F-150, 250, 350, and all the other vehicles that Ford makes sell exceptionally well. It'll mask the downfall of the Mustang. So someone said, Scott Andrews says, cross-compared 2018 and 23 model years, I would expect the figures to be abysmal. I don't even want to do that. And I said in the Street Alpha podcast, Ford had to do nothing. Ford had to do absolutely nothing. They could have made a 24 Mustang look like the 23, continued that, and then offered more options, keep it tunable. Yeah, maybe sales would have gone down, but not this drastically. It went down so fast because the Mustang is a blank slate. It is a template. It is a blank canvas on an easel that you can go ahead and do your shit with. You can configure the car to your needs. No, so let's say, for instance, a base GT. A base GT, in my opinion, represents a car most enthusiasts want. Why? They can make it their own. Let's say you're like, I want to go road racing. I know a lot about road racing. I'm going to put a road race suspension in the thing. So let me buy a base GT. Let me buy a full Steeda suspension. Let me buy, and cloth seats. It doesn't have the premium seats. It doesn't have the sound system. It doesn't have any of that stuff. Cool. But let's say you want a cruiser. So you're like, all right, well, I'd probably still buy a base GT, put a nice set of wheels on it, put my own interior in it, maybe put a supercharger in it or something. Versus the specialty vehicles, the California Specials, the RTRs, the Performance Pack with all of the bells and whistles, the PP2, all that stuff, or PP1s. A lot of those cars that are highly configured from the factory probably sell less than the base Mustang. The reason I say that is I'm going by the ticket system. And you guys probably go, Alex, why do you care about the ticket system? If you have if you work for the highest volume tuning company for Ford Mustangs there is, and 70% of the Gen 3s are non-performance package base vehicles, what does that tell you? Well, one, Mustang owners are broke. Two, people want to configure them. So rarely do I see a California special. Do you know how many California specials I see? None. You know how many performance package Mustangs I see? Most of them are in Puerto Rico. Why do I say that? I think Puerto Ricans think that performance package makes more power than the non-performance package. And they don't know that it's like suspension, brakes, and wheels. I don't even know if it's suspension, to be honest with you. I don't know if PP Gen 3s have like better struts or better springs, but mine didn't. Mine it just had wheels, a wing, and brakes. And I was like, that's what I wanted. But the car was the car was base performance package, meaning base interior, no bells and whistles, but I wanted the wheels and brakes. And then everything else I was going to configure. So I put suspension on it. I put GT500 wheels on it. I put a supercharger on it and exhaust. There goes that. So we'll talk about it. What do you think about I'm sure you guys have been paying attention, especially on Patreon. You guys check all that stuff out. And did you see some fucking people did the negative sell on the Roush blower? Bro, hilarious. I'm not going to give them too much shine because they're not getting any views on that video. It's pretty crazy. Jared Wells says, went into contract on my house. Got me a badass shop now, plus 2 car garage attached to the house. Lift is coming soon. How did you do that? Are you, how'd you go from being almost a broke kid to now affording a home, unless you sold the Mustang? We'll see. Holy shit, that was 2023. Time is flying, exactly. That interview you posted on your story about Farley talking about drifting was infuriating. Farley is all in. Farley is all in. And which one are we talking about, right? Farley is all in on this fucking drifting. And we talked about it on the podcast, you know? And I'm like, this guy, for whatever reason, is all in on this drifting bullshit. So listen to this. You want to be infuriated? You're a Mustang guy. Listen to this. I don't know. It's so stupid.
You got to tell me about drifting. I got to tell you, I've done a lot of racing, a lot of stuff. Drifting is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like, how are you doing? How did you learn it? How do you work on your skills?
Oh man, so I mean, as always, practice makes perfect. But you know, it's shutting off your brain from learning how to keep a car in control.
Yes.
Because that's your main objective, is to not be sideways when you're supposed to be going forward.
Yeah, I'm really impressed because that is an incredibly hard, for people who don't know, what Payne's talking about is one of the most difficult things to do with a car. And for him to take this on and get so good at it, it's a real accomplishment.
Parallel parking is hard too. Like if you don't have all the nannies, yeah, parallel parking is really hard. Nobody's looking to make that a sport. Shut the fuck up. Like we Northeasterners would drift every winter. Nick Nair says, Theo, and you mentioned the Whipple was only power adder option for S650. What happened to the Roush blower? Yeah, I had a big faux pas there. I only mentioned it later on. Damn, Roush does have a blower, but I mean, look, when you're in the moment, you don't remember every single little thing. I talked about 10,000 things. Like it was pretty stupid. So yeah, I totally forgot about that. So what do you want me to do? You fucking go back in time? But for the truck, Magnuson, I think, makes a Gen 3 up-facing thing, but I don't think they make it for the 24. So Tukes is talking about F-150. F-150, we talked about the Roush blower being not so great, right? We talked about the Roush blower being not so great. But yeah, I messed up on that one. I probably should have mentioned that Roush does have a very good blower for that platform. I'm going to go out on a limb and retract my last statement saying that the CR1 X will run the Nürburgring in 6.2 to 6.4 based on all the the GTD can suck Kyle's peepee. I'm going to go out on a limb and retract my last statement and say that the CA01 and the CA01X will run I don't know what your last statement was. If you have $75,000, $80,000, what car would you buy? Who cares, man? Stop with these stupid questions. I'm not that guy. I'm going to buy you know what I did? I bought a Gen 1. I'm not buying anything new. Nothing out there that is brand new interests me, especially on the Ford side. In quarter one, the Ford Mustang Mach-E saw a 21% increase in sales with 11,607 units delivered in the U.S. Imagine the Mustang is going to for a lot of the people that don't know what Mustang was, let's say you're 15 years old right now. You're not even paying attention to Mustang. By the time you're 21, the Mach-E would have been out 10 years. And you would have thought, that's a Mustang, right? If you're 15 right now, and in 7 years you'll look back and you're like, yeah, this is a 10-year-old Mustang. And a guy like me is gonna freaking want to wring your stupid little broccoli-haired face and be like, it's not a Mustang, it's an SUV. But that's the problem with watering down the brand. You water down the brand, you make it an SUV, you then take away the specialty of it. So what do people do? The people that have the money are people like us, over 35, maybe over 40 years old. That's where the money is at. If you want to cater to a younger audience, and by the way, younger people right now can't make any money. Like they pay like, boy, I'm old, because $20 an hour in 2000 money was good money. You could afford a house, legit, because the house was $120,000. Now that barely gets you into rent. Shutting off your brain, say no more. What did we do to deserve this guy shaking my head? Okay. Yes, shut off your brain when it comes to drifting. Drifting in the winter parking lot isn't the same thing as doing it on a road course at 65 miles an hour. You're right. It's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult to drift in the snow than a parking lot at 65 miles an hour. Unreal. I drift every now and again leaving work. It's not, but whatever you say, Gramps. Look, here we go. Look, Alex, if you wanna be the voice of the drifting community, you are basically saying skater kids with herpes are the future of racing, and it's not racing. Skater kids with herpes are mostly drifters, right? They're not racing. What's competitive about it? Angle, judging. If I had to join a automotive event that was judged, it's the same as a fucking car show. It's a rolling car show, basically. This means Ford is watching you, Alex. Has to be. Has to be. You didn't have Savar's last statement on the ZR1 written down on your desk somewhere? Right. So, like, I don't remember the shit you said last week or 3 days ago. Do you know how many amount of people I talk to every fucking day and say, oh, I retract my last statement. What last statement? I don't know who you are. Did you see the advertisement about Ford making their cars in America and wishes every manufacturer did? Like they don't manufacture in Canada or Mexico. Yeah, the problem with Ford is they actually use correct language in their commercials. And for the non-retard, you know that when they say assemble, it's not make. Assemble and make, two different things. If you say, if your fenders are made in Mexico, your motors are made, cast, and built in Canada, and then you ship them all to one plant, and in that plant, you assemble the car, that is not made in America. That's assembled in America. So what you have to do now is every single Ford truck or Ford vehicle that is assembled in America, remember made in America used to mean something? Made in America used to mean something. Now you have to change that made in America sticker and stamp assembled in America. Could you imagine you're like assembled in America? Assembled here. Assembled. Fucking look, I left Ford. I am fucking with old stuff now. I own 3 Gen 1s. I own 3 Gen 1 Mustangs. One makes 1,000, the other one makes probably 900, and the other one makes like 410. And I'm like, I am so happy with these cars. And then the Corvette is basically going to be a Gen 2 control system, twin turbo. And then, I have a Fairmont. Like, I don't mess with anything new because it's not exciting. The only exciting new vehicle that I want to fuck with is probably the E-Ray, but it's still over $100,000. So, not a fan. Because I'm just not looking to get into a brand new vehicle at $100,000. The E-Ray would be more enticing at 80 or 90, but I'm not saying it's not a great platform. It's just not at 100. Not at 100. Again, I got a C6 ZR1 at $60,000 like 10 years after the fact. Like, it's crazy. 11, 12 years after the fact. I'll probably do the same thing with the E-Ray if it isn't super fucked up. Alex SR has a bump on his lip too. Oh, Gramps. I like how they call me Gramps, and in person, they shake my hand and ask my workout routine and want a picture. Everyone is tough on the internet. Nobody is tough in person. Am I crazy to think I'd rather buy a Mach-E over S650? Depends on the use. If you want to have a normal vehicle that you drive everywhere, sure. What's up, Jay Walker? But it has Mustang badges. My last statement before the one I had was 6265, but I believe it'll be 6. Wow. Wow, what a controversial statement, Savar Martiner. You said, I think it'll run 6.2 to 6.5, but I'm now going to bring that down a tenth. Oh, no, sorry, 10 seconds? I said 6.2. Oh, who cares? You're not wrong, says Jared Wells. But when I'm paying the same as rent for an apartment as a mortgage, I finally got tired of it and bought the place. See, but you're in Ohio. Ohio, you can still get into a house for $350, like a decent deal. Look at what you can get for $350 down here. It's so stupid. Adam LZ was on BMX Skater Kid. Now he's my drift guy. Alex is 100% on the drift kid. Exactly. And Tukes said that. He goes, I go to these drift events and I think they're skater kids. I look at skater kids and I don't think, boy, I'd like to sell them a $75,000 highly optioned Mustang. You know what I look at when I see skater kids? I see the future buying potential. I see future customers of a $75,000 vehicle. No. They're going to buy Camphil Finique cold sore gel. They're going to buy some douchebag skateboard. And they're probably going to work at a pizza place or something. They're usually not, let's just say, motivated. Right? Skater kids aren't motivated to do anything but skater tricks. What is a skater kid strive to be? You guys might know. Maybe you're an ex-skater dude. What did you end up becoming by getting into skating? It's a very athletic thing to do, sure. But generally, the thought process of skater kids, what an Antifa frontliner? Fuck out of here. My 2018 is from Mexico. Herpes Skater Boy. Okay. For the old guy, i.e. his 2 cents, drifting is gay, says Jason Freiberg. Drifting is the dumbest motor sport there is. That does not mean it's not popular. Just like skating. Even though skating is dying in the U.S. I remember X Games and all this shit. All you saw was motherfuckers skating. Now, in the U.S., skate parks here that I see are full of RC cars. Like literally RC cars are using skate parks as their course. And I've gone to them with my X-Max. It's great. Sold in America. Yeah, Ford is going to make a sold in America badge soon. Imagine that. Made in America. Nope. Assembled in America. Yep. Sold in America? Houses in Massachusetts up around 500,000. Shit's wild. Why? And Joe Swish, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, because if I wanted a Sapphire, I would sell the GT500, the Gen 1, the Corvette, everything. The Fairmont I'm not going to get shit for, because I'm not going to get a dime for the Fairmont, so I might as well just keep it. And I would get a Lucid Air Sapphire. 8-second car, family sedan, 450-mile range. I probably would never need another car ever again. Because there's a certain point where you're like, how much do I need? Because a Sapphire, a Lucid Air Sapphire, what other car can compare with the ZR1 and ZR1X? Not a Plaid. Plaid is a half second behind. Lucid Air Sapphire runs 890s. Could you? And it's an American car. So could you imagine, out of all of the cars that can compare to the ZR1X, again, just straight line. A ZR1X probably stops, turns, all that stuff. But there's also things that the Sapphire can do that the ZR1X can't. Turn. Put more than 2 people in it. You could put 5 people in a Lucid Air Sapphire and run 940s. A ZR1, you can't do shit. Seriously, how many Antifa frontliners are skater kids? Every single time I see an Antifa clip or if someone doing some dumb shit, then, I'm kind of like, what? They all have skateboards. And I'm like, So are skater kids like Antifa frontliners? Like, how does that work? Like, just Google it. I've seen so many skateboards smash people in the head. There was a rally in Miami when Antifa was a thing. And before the guy with the helmet smashed. My favorite clip of all time is this one guy went up against some Antifa people and smashed them in the face with like a helmet. Let me see. Antifa helmet. Hey, guy. Antifa helmet guy. This is my favorite clip of all time. Every time I see this, I go, boy, this is wonderful. So this guy with the cigarette, this guy with the cigarette. So he's looking for, and these idiots, look at this guy, he's ready to come after him, it's great stuff. Here we go. Oh, they got the cigarette. What the fuck happened? Oh, Antifa happened. I'll never not like that video. And then there's a remix. Hell, my guy, Fast and Furious remix. Antifa, hell, my guy, Fast and Furious. I think, where is it? There's a remix. Remix. Oh, fuck. He hits. I gotta find it. Here, Tokyo Drift. Sorry, that's what it was. Here we go. Bro, I can't remember. Look, it's so good. This is so good. The timing. He's the best thing. Like, skater kids are probably good at skating, but they're not generally athletic. I mean, they do athletic things, but I don't know. I see these. I see skater kids, and I immediately think there's a problem. Hold on, guys. I gotta send a message. Yeah, people that call me Gramps and try to say you're old, so that's a negative thing. I'm like, dude. When you get here, you're going to realize how stupid you sounded, right? Just because you're older, more experienced, does not mean you are less aware of what's happening out there. I am actually more aware because I have historical context. I have a bunch of years behind me that I've seen history unfold in front of my eyes, and I can say, this is a winner, this is not a winner. This is the way things should go, this is the way things should not go. There's a reason that when I predict something, I don't just come up with stuff out of my ass. I mean, a lot of the times I do, but most of the time I come to my opinion through a historical context based on my experience. So the only people that say, hey, Unc or Gramps, and I'm like, you're just inexperienced. You just don't have as much experience as I do in this subject matter. So that's why a lot of people get a little on the defensive side and they just lash out with like Gramps and old. But in person, they are sucking my nuts. Every single time. I've met some of you that are critical online. Then I see you in person and they're like, what's up, man? Can I get a picture? I'm a road course guy, but drifting does teach you car control. Cool fucking story. Let me build a car. Let me build a 240 with an LX. Drift it so that I can understand car control in a road course environment. You know what else teaches you car control, Mark? Drifting in the snow. No, it doesn't. Okay. Fine. Hey, Alex, I heard a 321 setup may have issues with cooling passes. Is that true? No, never heard of that. Literally never heard of that. Don't know where you heard that. Literally never heard of that. I've tuned a bazillion 321 setups. If you use, I think, a GT500 head gasket, there is no issue. I've never heard that ever. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, if it's 311, maybe. But 321? I can't imagine. They all have a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook in their back pocket. The dude who tackled the guy in the riots was Wild Rooster. I never had that issue. 661 had a 321 setup, and that car was bananas on the street. By the way, 661, I guess, showed up to someone's backyard, and like a lot of the people didn't show up. Like, I like that a lot of people call each other out on Instagram and stuff, and like 661 Racing shows up. and they stay home. Good morning, Alex. Enjoy the Street Alpha interview. Yeah, it's up to 50,000 views already, which is awesome. The Amri is supporting Tukes. I think Tukes appreciates it. The previous two videos were 21,000 and 21,000, the two Australian guys, and that's over 10 days old. Then Chris's video is like to 7,000. So our video, and I say our because we are the Amri, is up to 50,000 in like 3 days. Look, I think there's a thirst for knowledge out there, and the way I deliver it. So when you have a guest on, I'm sure you have a guest that gives you one subject matter. Rotary this, converter that, one platform. And then I talk to you about everything. I talk to you about E-Ray, Fox bodies, Mustang, Gen 1, 2, 3, F-150. I give you a little bit of everything. So what that interview taught me was there's a thirst for knowledge out there. And I think the way I deliver it is palatable to a lot of people. And if you don't really understand cars specifically, and my point of view about cars, you can watch that video and go, okay, I kind of understand what he's talking about, because he's giving me a lot of examples of, he's talking like a layman. So I think there's a thirst for that. And the fact that it got 50,000 views in 3 days gives me that blue check mark that what I'm doing is right. It's just funneling that to the right audience, because his audience is not Ford guys. Street Alpha's an import guy. So import people watch him. Honda guys, BMW guys, Nissan guys. But when it comes to, Ford stuff, they're not aware. And then they're like, oh, this guy's saying stuff that we understand. So I thought it was really interesting. Ford feels like that parent that can't relate to their kids, so they look up what's cool and say some cringy ass shit. This, what is Steve Buscemi? Steve Buscemi, isn't there a meme with him? Kids meme? Origin? How do you do, fellow kids? Right, this is Ford right now. Ford going to a drifting event. How do you do, fellow kids? Yeah, this is, what a wonderful meme. This is exactly what's happening right now with Ford.
How do you do, fellow kids?
This is Ford right now. We need a meme made with Jim Farley's head. Hey guys, Bryson, JD Swag, whatever. We need this, this right there.
How do you do?
Right there. That's what we need. We need Jim Farley's head on this, like, music brand. Well, how do you do, fellow kids? Is there anything interesting happening right now? What are you guys into? You're into drifting? You know what? Maybe that's something I can, push across to the brass, and we can make cars based on this fucking silliness. How do you do, fellow kids? I'm not looking to adhere. I'm not looking to mold myself into what's popular now. I'm looking to make people like what I like. And that's how Ford should act. Ford should not say, we need to bend to the will of the herpy owner. We need to make people like what we put out. And the culture has to be internal. It's not internal, it's external. They're allowing everything that's going on around them to dictate their next move. Dude, there was a guy on Instagram that said, I wish my car revved on the key fob. I wanted to just explode the computer. You tuned my ESS. Thank you for everything you do. Nick, glad you're happy. Hopefully, I hope you're happy. unless this is completely sarcastic, you're welcome. See, one never knows anymore. Like, one never knows. What does it take to swap a Gen 250 from a 19 F-150 to an 18 Gen 2 EcoBoost Raptor? A lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of know-how. Don't do it. Could the reason for so many views be the watching for comedy purposes? Okay, I wish Tukes was on. Retention is not comedy. Because funny things, I said maybe 3, but factually correct and, experience-based opinion things, I said for about 2 hours. So I can't imagine you retain 2 hours of viewership for jokes. No way. Definitely a thirst for knowledge. Flat plane cranks don't make torque. They don't. Generally, because this is what people will say. What about Hondas? How much? What cars have flat plane cranks that make the same torque as they do horsepower? I mean, a turbo diesel? I don't even know if those are flat plane. Oh, they are. This is straight 6. Just got to the gym, Alex. Thanks for the motivation. You got it, brother. Alex, the best way to put it, no disrespect, by the way, is but you're like Engineering Explained, but more masculine. How would that be disrespectful? Engineering Explained, they went out of... Okay, this is my problem with Engineering Explained. Sometimes things can't be explained through engineering alone. And I'll give you an example. So if you were to tell somebody that a rear-wheel drive car that weighs 3,200 pounds cannot cut a sub 1/460 foot time, and then you on a no prep surface. If I was an engineer, I could make a whole video about drag, coefficient, traction, da. And then some fucking guy in Alabama puts a wing 550 pounds on the back of his Fox body and does a bumper dragging wheelie to cut a 139. And then he goes, well, I was proven wrong. Right. Like Engineering Explained, unfortunately, relies on mathematical equations as opposed to application. And I've seen more people do crazy things because they try it as opposed to, well, that's not going to work. If you were to explain to an engineer, we're going to land a 300-pound booster that went up to space, turn it around and come back. He goes, that's impossible. The probabilities of that happening are probably, 1 in 1,000. And then SpaceX does it 2 in a row. Then they bury another one in the ocean. Then they do another one. And I'm just like, I don't know. I think they got it down pat. So it's one of those things where Engineering Explained is a good channel if you like a overly complicated mathematical explanation for things, whereas I am more of application. I just want to try it. Fucking try it. Why not? Lund being copy pasted is hilarious considering other tuners are copy pasting Lund tunes. Yeah. So there's another thing happening. There's another thing happening now where the negative cell is the way people make their product viable. Lund sucks, so come to me. So that means you should already have a Lund tune, and then I'll come fix it. Oh, so you have to buy a Lund tune first. Come to me, and I'll magically fix your Lund tune. How does that work? Like how and what? Define fixing. Burbles? Weird shifts? Like define it. Again, if you go to Ruth Chris and you don't like their steak, and someone says, bring the Ruth Chris steak to me, I'll pop it in the microwave and I'll throw a little sazon on it, and you're like, I like ridiculously salty steak. Then yes, they fixed the Ruth Chris steak. But the whole fucking thing, 99% of it, is a Ruth Chris steak. That's what's happening out there. They're saying, Lund sucks, come to us with your Lund tune and we'll fix it. And I have my thoughts about that. I don't want to get off kilter when it comes to software companies. Boy, I'm still kind of salty about that stuff. John Holmes says, I thought it was 2 hours of comedy. The 5.8 is more robust and can spin bigger twin screws. It is. It's got a longer stroke. That's why the older GT500s use Kenny Bell's Whipples and Kenny Bells. However, the Coyote makes more power. The Coyote does make more power. That's been proven because of RPM. But the stroke allows you to pull a bigger blower, and you don't need a lot of RPM to make power on those cars. Like, I am literally tuning a GT500 right now, and the rev limiter is 7,200. It's fully built. Fully built. Why is the rev limiter 7,200? Right? It makes a ton of torque down low. So you can put a 3.8 on it. The stroke helps. The displacement of the blower and the stroke of the engine and the configuration of the engine helps. And you're basically saying exactly what I'm saying. That's why the older GT500s use big Kenny bells and yes, big. You're actually saying what I'm saying. If you don't think that the 5.8 is more robust in terms of girth, but it's not a more powerful engine. It's not a more powerful engine. It's not. It's just not. Like, show me all these 5.8s running stupid numbers in droves. Maybe there's one or two. Look, if there's one or two running a really good number, I would say, okay. But if there's hundreds of Coyotes running a similar number, what does that tell you? This is why application engineers exist in industries. There's application engineers. Well, I didn't know that's a thing. So what is their general purpose? Like, how do they vet the combo, or do they vet the engineering that happens? Do a starter job on a Coyote Mustang. Do a starter job on a modular motor. That's an engineer, right? That is an engineer telling you where something should have been put. And then you, as a mechanic, go, these engineers, how many times have you said these engineers are stupid? Every day. But on the specifically on the starter job of a modular car, that last bolt up against the block is a nightmare. But some engineer went in there and said, this is where it should go. Engineering Explained is great for people that like that verbose language of mathematics. Not me. VMP's tuner, engineer, janitor, and stunt cock says, super late. But here I am dropping a like. Yeah, if you hear rumors, it's pretty crazy. Smash Navarro says, I have a friend who's an engineer. He does tend to find overcomplicated ways to explain how things work. I'm the opposite of that. And again, nobody is watching verbose, highly technical talk about cars in a palatable fashion. Like, a lot of people are not watching that. People want to hear car talk with some knowledge. They don't want the nitty gritty bullshit. As a tuner, quote unquote tuner, I don't care too much about, and this might sound controversial, but I don't care too much about the data, because I have seen data that makes sense in terms of how it looks, but it feels like shit. Well, technically you should lock the converter here, and because of RPM slip and the math and the gear ratio and the tire size, it should do this. Then I put it in a car and it fucking feels like shit. Ooh, okay, well, let me move it up here, tweak this, tweak that, massage this. Oh, look, it feels great. Yeah, sometimes you fat finger something, but you go by feel. Right now, my Gen 1, my Gen 1 Mustang feels phenomenal driving. Phenomenal. Like, it feels, the shifts are crisp. They don't bang in. They're quick. The car just downshifts nice. And I'm like, I'm going to copy this into every Gen 1 auto. And I've done that with a lot of customers. I vet the combo on my car. I say, try this. And they're like, dude, it's great. So I'm going to stick to that thought process, because that's the way I taught myself to tune. The general thought process of how a car should drive was vetted by me on my vehicles. And then I just share that with people that want it. Hey, Alex, it's not much. Jesus, it's a lot. $100 is a lot of money, man. I really appreciate it very much. Any of you guys that support the channel and you're willing to give anything, $5, $2, $1, whatever, it makes a huge difference, guys. Huge difference. So don't ever say that $100 is not much. It is a lot of money. It's a big deal, especially on a peasant chat. Rooster, thank you so much. And you're a member. I really appreciate the hell out of you. 850 is the max for putting a window on a 5.8, right? Correct. 850 is by far the most I would ever push a stock 5.8. Hell, even a 5.4. I'm just not a fan of spinning those and the RPM. A lot of the thing a lot of the things that are gonna hurt a 5.8 or a 5.4 is the RPM. That's why I think the 5.4 is a little better because I think there was more left on the table. There's more compression on the 5.8 stock. We're talking stock here. The 5.4 to me, if you watch VMP's, look, one of the better videos to watch, to be honest with you, is VMP's video when they put C16 in a 2012 and a 2650 and they made 800 through the stock exhaust. I was like, this is perfect. That video should be way more popular than it is. I think it has good views, but it should be like a bunch of people should be watching that video because 800 horsepower, and all they did was like, fix the supercharger system. The motor stock, the transmission is stock. The exhaust still had catalytic converters, and it made 800 with a 2650. And I said, this is how every guy should build his GT500. Just see the oil filter replacement on some cars. Oh, bro, stop it. Every single, what is it, F-150? Wait, which one is it where you open the oil filter and it goes right into the sway bar? It just literally goes out this way. You're right, 100%. Content plans for the white car. So, racing. A lot of people that are on my Patreon know that I bought a white drag race car. It used to be Collier's car. Jake had bought it so that his wife could go drag racing. She didn't really have interest in it. He was hoping his kids would have interest in it. They didn't care either. And he's like, well, what am I going to do? And I'm like, you're going to sell it to me? And he's like, really? I go, yeah, but, we're going to have to set some terms. And we reached terms pretty easily and delivered it yesterday. And today I'm going to kind of go over the car and just show you what's going on. That car has gone 880s with a 2.8 upper pulley on a 2650, and I think at 10 or 15%. So much left on the table, but the goal with that car is run 850. Now, can that car run quicker? I think so, with a lot of lightweight materials, a lot more RPM, and let's be honest, more boost. It's gonna need boost to go low eights, but my goal is to get the car sorted, but it's pretty sorted. I think it needs help with the launch. It kind of does stupid wheelies, which is nothing wrong with wheelies, but if you want to get a good 60-foot time, you want to keep the front end down. But yeah, that's the goal, to have some fun with it. Run 850 classes or 550 index classes, 550 eighth, 850 quarter, and that's it. Like, not register it, don't drive it on the street, race car only. So then I already have a car that has drag race bullshit that I drive on the street, and it's not fun. The GT500. Like, I wish the transmission was synchronized because it'd be more fun to drive. But when it comes to racing, you want like a faceplated deal. I'm just not a fan of how it drives normally, but I'm a big fan of how it shifts at watts. So you give up one for the other. Ordinary Bowler says, my wife is a business section manager. Okay, well, hold on. Jay Walker said something here. They discover use cases for real world performance, and I'm being general, but they are part technician, part engineer. Understood. Very good. My wife is a business section manager, deals with engineers every day, and one of them showed a blueprint and was going into his bullshit talk, and I said with my GED, oh, it's a nitrogen pump. I love it. So it's not worth buying a 5.8 GT500 over a Coyote, Gen 2, Gen 3. That's completely different world. In my opinion, if you want a performance vehicle, what are your goals? The 5.8 GT500 is great for certain case uses. You're a set of 373s, a pulley swap, a cold air swap, and fuel away from like running deep 10s, and maybe high 9s. Okay, but what's the entry for cost? $58,000, 45 for kind of a used one. So 45 to 58,000 bucks, and you have a 13, 14 GT500 that you can go 9s with pretty easily if you're willing to beat it up, change the gear ratio, good clutch, blah, blah, blah. A Gen 2 GT for $20,000 to $25,000, you're a turbo kit, oil pump gears, fuel system away from 890, 90. So I think they're two different cars. I wouldn't really compare the two unless you had a specific case use. Like, they don't intersect. You know what I mean? So if you're going to drag race or want a fast roll car, you you would not get a GT500. Like, it's a great car, but I just, that's more of a nice premium Mustang that can go fast versus a Mustang that can go really fast, which would be a Gen 2 or Gen 3. I think it's two different worlds, to be honest with you. The engineer couldn't believe I knew that. I said, it's a pump without the scientific big words. He was mad. Keeping Donnie still then? Yeah, I'm going to keep all the cars until I can't. I can afford all the cars. I want to do content on all the cars. Donnie is a good car to maybe show you what you can do on pump gas. You're stuck on pump gas. E85 isn't available in your area. What can you do? Well, I'm thinking of putting the Department of Boost kit on it, but man, I don't know. Like, it's a 2650. So this is what I'd probably do. I'd probably sell the 2650 blower, which is a GT500 blower. It's ported, so it's going to bring in some money. And I'd look for a Gen 2 Roush blower, and then I'd put it in Donnie. Hey, yo. Pause. And then I could go 10s with it and keep it on pump gas. And then maybe do race gas and pull it down and go 9s and blow it up. Yes, Smasher Devourer. Yes. It's crazy that these people hate me and then regurgitate everything I said as if they came up with it. Crazy stuff. 18 to 20 F-150 sprays on the sway bar. But if you get the UPR drain plug, attach a tube direct to the drain, it makes it clean, simple. Yes, I remember doing an oil change on one of these cars. Yeah, my Gen 3 truck. And it just went everywhere. And I'm like, who designed this? Who designed this ridiculousness? But yeah, look, half of the people that watch me, look, there's 300, I can't believe there's 300 people on a Sunday. But half of the people that watch me hate my guts, but they know I'm right and I entertain them. The other ones are the Amory that are like ride or die, whatever I do. Oh, hold on, guys. I gotta answer text. Oops. There we go. So someone said, "What's the white car?" Don't worry, you'll see. I'll put it in a video. Don't worry about it. Boy, John Holmes is literally Tony Full Bolt on before he lost his shit. He's literally that guy. This is what you do with this show. You shut the fuck up and watch it. You shut the fuck up and watch it. And if you don't like it, why are you here? Like, I don't go to shows that I hate and go comment on their shit. I simply don't watch them, right? Why would you support someone that you dislike highly and then call them hypocrite and make yourself feel good about calling them hypocrite? And then you got to go, who the fuck are you? No one knows who you are for a reason. Lucien says, is the 5.8 more costly to build than the 5.0? Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, yes. Like, and what do you get for it? Okay. Meaning, a 5.8, who do you trust to build it, number one? Believe it or not, the car I'm messing with right now, I have it here on Patreon. You know which one I'm fucking with. The motor was built locally in Florida, and it's running great. And I'm like, this is running good. I don't hear any click-clacking or any bullshit. Valves are doing what they're supposed to do. The springs are doing what they're supposed to do. Like, it makes good power. So I'm like, okay, this motor builder is probably someone I wouldn't recommend, because recommending is suggesting that you would get your motor built by them. And I definitely would not do that. But the fact that it's running so good makes me go, okay, but how much did it cost to build that motor? $25,000 for a 1,000 horse motor? What's it take to make 1,000 horsepower on a Coyote? What does the motor need to withhold 1,000 or so horsepower? Rods, pistons, stock head, stock cam, stock. Even stock sleeves. An Illuminator is a stock sleeve rod and piston Coyote. It's a stock sleeve rod and piston Coyote. And you can make 1,000 with it. A GT500 motor? Fuck. You need everything. Ported, this, that. Well, maybe not ported. But it makes good torque. But, you know, unless you're towing, torque don't matter. I don't want to talk about how much my motor costs. The Coyote is better 100%. Bryson, was it over 20,000 bucks? Was your motor build over 20,000 bucks? I guarantee it was. An Illuminator, I think, is under, I think it's under 15, like all in, if I'm not mistaken. Alex, do you think a 50 shotter will help my Gen 2 2200 SL? Yes, absolutely, Manuel. I think that Nitrous, as a small shot, we treat it just like boost, right? So when you say, okay, I got a 3.3 pulley Paxton, and I don't want to pulley down because I'm going to have belt slip and I'm going to have IAT issues. There's always the rub. You're going to go, do I want to boost higher, and deal with the potential belt slip and the potential IAT issues? Or can I just buy a 50 shot? And the crazy thing is when it's boosted, that 50 shot becomes 75 rear wheel horsepower. It's like it is an oxidizer. It's literally an oxidizer. It's like there's so much air going into your system that 50 shot sprayed into the manifold, it goes, oh, there's a whole bunch of air around here. Woo! And it just atomizes everything out there, and the available air is optimized by the nitrous, and your 50 shot becomes a 75 wheel shot. So that's why when people say, Alex, I want to add a 150 shot on my boosted car, I go, no. Keep it at like 75 to 100, because that's like 120 or 150 at the tire, because it's you're oxidizing pressurized air, compressed air. Sorry, basically. So a lot of people go, okay, and then when they do, they go, damn, it really woke it up, and it's only a 50 shot. I go, yeah, it's totally different than NA. NA, you're oxidizing whatever the motor alone can process. That's it. But when you're oxidizing a compressed air system going into another pump, it's like, I don't want to say double the effect, but it's just a lot more efficient. With forced induction, and see, FI could be fuel injection. I'm old. With FI and stock exhaust, what indicators would we have if the cats start to degrade and get damaged? The smell. Would we get cold before it would break, melt? Maybe. So a 42430 code on a Mustang, 11 and up. Let's say Coyote Mustang, 11 through current. A 42430 code is a catalyst inefficiency code. What that means is the front sensor and the rear sensor are pre-configured to see a certain parameter. When that parameter is breached one way or the other, it throws a inefficiency code. There is something in between these two sensors that is acting in a way that is past these parameters. So the problem is this. I have seen catalytic converters absolutely plug and kill an engine mid-pull. Like Joe Goodenough posted a video on his profile maybe, I don't know, fucking 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago or more. He was on the dyno with a Hellcat, and he went wide open throttle, and it had chunks of catalytic converter come out of the exhaust. He had no pre-warning. He had nothing. It just went what? And then cats came out the bitch. The car made like 560 rear wheel horsepower. The customer's like, oh my God. Customer took the car home, took the mid-pipe off, put on an off-road mid-pipe, came back, and I think it made another 100 horse on top of what it made with busted cats. So that's to say, you probably won't have a warning, because if the cat decides to fail and it still hasn't hit a threshold of seeing cat codes, then what happens is it just plugs up, and if your ring land is going to let go. That's what's going to happen. More than likely, your ring land is going to let go because you're pressurizing not only the exhaust but everything else, and the ring gap is so tight on NA stuff that you're probably going to bust the piston before anything. So again, a lot of Whipple F-150s have blown cats, and it's a known thing. And that's why I mentioned it on the Street Alpha podcast. I wanted to make sure that people are aware that stock catalytic converters and an F-150 with a Whipple is probably a recipe for disaster. So take that information and do with it what you will. Boost multiples, the nitrous additive? What are we talking about? Illuminator crate is 14,000 amp power by the hour. So imagine you have a 5.8 and you send it out to get built. Can you make 1,300? Sure, that's a $30,000 motor build. let alone the blower and all that stuff. A $14,000 illuminator, put it in, whatever boost you want, it's capable of making over 1,000. I think it's crazy, and there's a reason Ford kind of stopped using all that. I'm sure there's mile per gallon standards and all this other horse shit, but at the end of the day, the Coyote is just way more efficient at everything. So just use that. I think a lot of GT500 owners were butthurt initially when the newest GT500 got a Coyote. It's a Predator. Okay. Even Ford calls it the Coyote family. So, I mean, if it was a better motor, why didn't they bring back the fucking Trinity? Shut the fuck. Oh, mile per gallon. Yeah, that car, mile per gallon standards. At least you built what you like, says Bryson. Wait, okay, what's happening here? Bryson, for anyone asking about the 545850, I'm over 20,000 into the motor, and I'm telling you, a Gen 3 10R80 with boost would give me a run for my money. Exactly. A Gen 3 ESS car is a 4-second car with E85. It's a 5-second car on pump gas. There was a guy that I tuned the other day. There was a guy that I tuned the other day that ended up not knowing what to expect. Predator 55s, injectors, and ESS on a 120 millimeter pulley, and pump gas. So I said, it's probably going to be a low 6 second or mid 6 second, depending on air, weight, fuel quality, and shift RPM. And he's like, okay. So he goes out and races 2 built Trackhawks. Now, I don't know how well they're built. I have no idea how well they're built. But the fact of the matter is, it's a supercharged 420 something, whatever size Hemi. Is it 426? I don't know. All-wheel drive trucks. And he roll raced both and beat both. And he's like, he was blown away by that. I was like, but why are you blown away by that? He's like, I didn't think this ESS car is going to run that. I go, it's configured perfectly for roll racing. Perfectly. The power, the power curve, the gear ratio, where everything falls, a 315 rear end, 10R80 ESS G3X car is deadly on a roll if you only do roll stuff. During the last interview, whose Fox body is that, and can you tell us more about it? I cannot tell you more about it, but I think I'm going to have to do a bit of a Google search because I think they've deleted all the videos. So, okay, I think they deleted all those videos. They were 10 years ago. So, local guy. Oh, man, bro. So, this video was out for a very long time. And the TRC used to promote the shit out of this car. Local Viper guy, Viper TA, is it Track Attack? Whatever. I don't want to get copyrighted, Jesus. So this is a Gen 5 Viper, orange, and they called it the driver mod Viper. So that car was making its rounds down here. Very fast car. Was beating a lot of these cars. Cobras, built diesel. This is diesel, this thing. This Colorado. Mini tub, like dumb, you know. So, you know, it was making the rounds. And he was beating Cobras, beating Z06s, beating, you know, pretty much everything down here. And I ended up seeing a Fox body beat it. And I went, what the fuck? You know, and then I found out it was that Fox body, but I'm trying to find that video, and I think they got rid of it. But the same guy that owns that Fox body owns this one. The same guy that owns the notch. I'm sorry, this notch is the same guy that owns the Celine Fox body in the back. So, yeah, it depends on which Fox body you're talking about. But, yeah, but TRC deleted all of those videos. TRC Fox body? Let me see. Yeah, TRC used to have a bunch of good videos. And here it is. There it is. There it is. So that's the car that was behind me. And, but I was hoping to see. Oh, yeah, I can't put him on. I can't put him on camera because he don't want to be put on blast. But I'm trying to see if they have a video. There we go. There we go. Super clean car. Yeah, it was a serious car. You know, it's like one of the quicker, and it's a real Celine. I want to see if we can get outside picture of it. Yeah, it's a real Celine, like legitimately real Celine. People like it's not a Celine. Yes, it's 100% a real Celine. It's got a small block Ford. I don't know, high 300 cubic inch, big bullseye turbo thing. I think 4R70 mini tub. And it's a badass car, like roll race, and you know, a lot of people don't like the mini tub look. This one works. This car on the street, it'll probably be a mid 4-second 60 to 130 car, in my opinion. All right, let's just roll out the entire chat. Don't need it to be about him. What are we talking about? John Holmes. So what are you facts experience? Look, guys, if you're gonna feed the troll, please get back here with that comment. Okay, my favorite video is back in high school. I don't know why everyone's just talking about this idiot. What the fuck is up with the Fast and Furious style editing? That was popular back in the day, dude. Like that was fucking almost 10 years ago. I was popular back then, so that's the way they did it. Now, yes, JD Swag, it has wood screws because it's a real Celine. The car is super well configured, and the guy is not. He used to be into racing, and you saw that he was at Palm Beach International Raceway, and he used to be into racing, and he got out of racing because he's like, there's just, you know, it's a sickness, and he just does fast street car shit now, and that's where I want to be, honestly. Yeah, I don't think I saw that Fox at Cars and Coffee. He's not a Cars and Coffee guy, but I think I made a whole video on it in the garage. As a matter of fact, if you guys didn't watch the, I had a whole video about his garage. We showed him the Evo, we showed the Supra, we showed the Viper, we showed the Celine. We showed it all. Suspension is dialed in on that Fox body. I have a Holley high ram intake and want to go ESS soon. Ditch it and get a stock intake, stock throttle body. Stop with this weird obsession of having a Cobra jet with a ESS. Stop with this odd obsession of Cobra jet twin 67 throttle bodying a. Can we do it? Yeah. Are you going to gain way more than a stock intake and stock throttle body? No. No. Matter of fact, you can probably sell your Holley Haram and your throttle body and pay and be up money with a stock intake, 18 intake, and a regular throttle body. I don't understand the obsession with Cobra jet intakes and boosted applications. Just don't understand it. Maybe you guys like the look, and I understand that, but like you're complicating your life. You're complicating your life, not ours. Fastest wood screws in Florida. That Fox literally has the Fairmont's old motor. Okay, which Fox are we talking about? He has two Fox bodies. He has the Notch, and he has the Celine. Actually, he has three Fox bodies. He has another green one that he doesn't want to talk about. that was like a thorn on his side. Holley Haram sucks, makes no torque. Looks cool though. I hope you brought your wood screws because I'm gonna blow your doors off. Look. A lot of the times people our age that can afford and have been around, and I'm not saying it because I got money, okay? It's just because once you get older, you can afford more things. That's just how it is, okay? We got off kilter about talking badly about Mustang and all this stuff, but it's because we have seen the lineage, right? The heyday, the badass stuff it's not gone. It's not gone yet, but I suspect based on sales, based on availability, guys, people are grasping at straws, with this new Mustang. It's tough to get excited about it when you have limited options. And then what people are doing out there is negative selling one versus the other for a clout chase. It's weird. And then they're skewing the tests. You know, they're doing back-to-back dyno stuff, but one dyno made 700 more RPM or 800 more RPM than the other one. And then like the fan and then the saucy fuel. And I'm like, bro, I just don't care anymore. Like, I just, like, if this is how you sell a product by negatively selling the other, more power to you. I just like people that just kind of stand on their product and that's it. Like, I'm one of those guys that I'm like, I'm going to stand on my product. That's it. Like, I say Lund's the best based on what I see. but do I go out of my way to highlight somebody else and tell them they suck compared to Lund? No, I say Lund's the best off the rip. Everyone else sucks. Like, everyone is under Lund. Everyone is looking at, like, literally, Lund is Elysium, everyone else is the bottom. So they're like hoping something great falls from Elysium that they can build off of. That's literally, that's the best example I could use for that. Reggie says, your kids will never understand, but back then in racing videos, we actually ran. We didn't vlog. We didn't explain what it took to get there to race that day. We just raced and edited the racing. Yeah, the Notch has the Fairmont old motor. Yes, you were right. We never understand. Deal. I want to get a Bussy E85 kit on my car, but should I order from them even though they're back ordered to hell? Yes. I sold my kit yesterday, like in 5 minutes. Because I'm like, okay, I bought this car. This car has a 4 Innovations fuel system. The GT500 has a 4 Innovations fuel system. And I'm like, I have 2 4 Innovations fuel systems and 2 basically race cars. And I'm like, I don't need this third. So I sold that. They put big industrial fan next to the car. Yeah, bro. What are you going to do? It's one of those things where, remember when Jay Tucker, when he doesn't own JLT anymore. And it's not that it's a good thing or bad thing. It's just factually what happened. He tried to say that his cold air intake was better because it made more power. And then what he did was he opened the hood and then tuned the truck to take away catalytic overtemp protection and then said, well, all we're doing is taking away cat overtemp. No. And then Gail Banks was like, you tuned it. You tuned it. And you can skew the test by fan placement, by hood up, down. You can skew the test many different ways. Again, I did a cold air test. Hood up, hood down, different intakes. And I gained like 18 or 20 horsepower. NA. So imagine boosted. How much more can you skew the test? Then octane boosters. Oh, by the way, tuning. The Roush blower has 2 throttle bodies and a Roush tune. I can almost bet you that the Roush tune is capped at 16 degrees with catalyst over temp. It might go to 20 and the shift points are 73, 7400. I guarantee that the other tune is sauced up. It's not the base tune you get from everybody. And it's probably more boost. Because boost for boost, like take 10 on 10, 11 on 11, 12 on 12, it's going to make maybe a little more based on displacement, the Whipple, but race the cars. Pulley them both for 12 PSI, cap them both at 16 degrees, make them both shift at 7,500 RPMs. Tell me who's going to win that fucking race. Do that test. Then I'll go, okay, you got a point. Pulley a Roush 24 to make 12 PSI, octane boosted. Pulley a Whipple 24, 12 PSI, octane boosted. Both capped at 17 degrees or 16 degrees, both shifting at 7,500 RPMs. I'll put my money on the Roush car. It'll probably run a slower ET, but it'll, not slower ET because that means he treat them. It'll probably have a lower mile an hour, but a better ET than the Whipple car. Call me crazy. Can you get into a new Mustang GT for less than 40? I don't think so. Unless it's like ridiculously low optioned. I don't know. Maybe. Everyone else sucks except for Joe. Is it possible to run an ESS kit on an S197 Mustang? Yes. It just needs a lot of modifying. One of the guys, one of our customers did it and it ran really well. Maybe right over 40, like 43 to 45 on the Mustang. The 4 kit Alex sold could have been worth more money if it was pre-bussy butthole pick days. Alex, can the 5.2 Illuminator handle any horsepower like the 5.0 Illuminator? Absolutely. I think the 5.2 XS can make 1,000 on boost, no problem. Chelsea probably took a lot of those vids down due to legal issues and due to some states going after drivers. Exactly. I think they posted so many racing videos that people showed their faces on, and they just started going boom, 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 boom. All you guys get popped. Was that a Baller Bank? That was a Baller Banks video. The Banks video going after Jay Tucker was my criticism of his thought process the whole time. My criticism of JLT when it was owned by Jay was the tests you make are shit. Your product isn't any better than anything else. It's arguably worse, But he just would say, we make this. Did you do a cam reset? Did you do that? And then Gail Banks goes in there and goes in a scientific fashion, like, you fucked up. This is all fucked up. Will I regret buying a Gen 3 manual when I go drag racing in an 800 horsepower range? Yep, you probably will. Justin, are you going to launch it at 6,500 RPMs? Are you going to put a bias ply on it? Are you going to put a badass drive shaft on it? Are you going to put 1,500 horsepower capable axles on it? Are you going to put a Billy badass clutch on it? Like, are you going to get after it? Or are you going to go, woo, 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 then you might be fine. We literally found out that a can of octane booster is pump gas nowadays. Do you think the Gen 4 Mustang is helping the Gen 3 Mustang maintain its value? I feel the Gen 3s are selling for a premium past 6 to 12 months. I'm in the market for a Mustang. Let me see what's going on here. 24 Mustang screens. Okay, it looks kind of cool. Okay, cool. $50,000? 12.1 in the quarter? Gets beat by a Challenger? What are my options if I want to go faster? Remove all this interior? Gut it? Brakes? K-member? 23 Mustang. ESS, Pro Charger, Hellion, Aldo, on 3 if you want to be a cheap prick. Whipple, Edelbrock, Magnuson / Odin, whatever you want to call it, which is still available. Infinite power adder options, infinite fuel system options, infinite fuel options, tuning up the wazoo. Why are you buying it? Do you just want the latest and greatest? Get a 24. Go ahead. Be one of the 9,000 this quarter. Go ahead. Do you want tunability? Do you want more options? Then you get yourself a fucking 23 and under. And maybe that's the reason that they're maintaining their value, because the 24 Mustang is so bad. I raced a Purge the other day and it was stopped by the highway patrol because the hood was up. My only explanation was I saw it on YouTube. I have to keep the hood open. I raced a person the other day and was stopped by the highway patrol because my hood was up. My only explanation was I saw it on YouTube. I have to keep the hood open. Is he saying nobody races without the hood open, so you shouldn't dyno without the hood open? I think that's what he's trying to say. Fans' fuel was sauced up. They did not show boost numbers and constantly have the Whipple tweaked tunes. I agree. $46,000 for a base GT, says EPA. My 19 was $38,500 out the door. $38,500 for my 19 manual GT premium performance package base. Out the door. Miata Boy says AAN4 is the only good fuel system. Everyone else uses D-Torx injectors and have the regulator in the back. Fuck everyone else. I like it, Miata Boy. I agree on the 24 blowers. They need an apples-to-apples test. I would like to see time slips. Everyone is just doing dyno comparisons. Can we get a clip of this non-shifting noises? Sounds odd with no context. So is the ZR1 ready for turbos now that the clutch seems to be done? Yes. So yesterday we fixed, thank God Jake exists. Jake, I had a terrible night Friday night. I did not sleep well. I had a fever. I don't know what happened. I think food poisoning happened, but I didn't have the shits, and I didn't puke a lot. So I just had like a fever, and I just could not sleep. So Saturday morning I was wiped out, and my brain wasn't right. I couldn't function. I was foggy, and Jake's like, "So we're gonna deliver this car for you?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, yeah, let's get it." So I go up there, get the car. He's like, "So are we gonna figure out the throwout bearing stuff on the Corvette?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." Again, I am sweating. I'm tired. I haven't had any fluids in me, nothing. And damn, Jake just motivated me to be like, "Let's do this, let's do that." We figured out the throwout bearing. The throwout bearing depth. It's adjustable McLeod version. We put the lines in. We tightened everything down. We bolted it in. We ran the lines to the ZR1 master, and I ran the bleeder line, and the bell housing is on. And I'm like, fuck. I mean, if it wasn't for him, none of that stuff would have gotten done. So it's up to me now to put the motor, made it to the trans for the last time, hopefully. Hopefully, the motor is going to go in, the spacing is going to be proper, bolt down everything, everywhere, and then put fluids in it, actuate the clutch, make sure it does what it's supposed to do. Put the steering rack on, put the steering shaft on the steering rack, put the wheels on, put an intake on it, and it's off to get a turbo kit. I'm really close. I'm really, really close. I'm kind of like cautiously optimistic, but by next week, so next week's going to be a short week. So the 3rd and the 4th, we're not working. Thank God. We did like a Lund day where we take the day before July 4th off. So the 3rd and the 4th, we're not working. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's it. Se acabó. So I have 4 days to work on this car to get it ready to bring it up north to have Ryan Eckhart of low profile Fab do the turbo stuff. And we'll see how all that goes. Alex's intake tests are the better test than Banks. It's so bad. I feel so bad that the camera work was so shoddy, but the data is irrefutable. I might need to remake a lot of these videos. You know what I'm saying? And I think Donnie is a great candidate for that. I just don't have a dyno. I put it on 3 times. That motherfucker still don't fit, says Miata Boy. Gen 4 Coyote is literally the Gen 3 with a dual throttle body intake. I agree. Actually, it's a 13.3 with 24 Mustang. Only squids by the 24 Mustang. I'm seeing a decent amount of Gen 3 selling for $35,000 to $40,000, and that's for a 21 GT non-performance pack. That means the value is high. That means they're selling. Who has the best brushless system for the S550? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to pumps and brushless stuff, there's going to be like Aeromotive and a couple other people, but I don't know a lot of people running them on street cars. On race cars, tons of people are running them. Ready for turbos? Wait, the motor's fully installed? It should be next week. Alex got that China virus variant. Thank you, Jake. I wish I had a friend like Jake. Me and him had a very close heart-to-heart talk about this whole situation because I wouldn't have tried half of the stuff if I didn't have access to these people. I wouldn't have even attempted to put a Coyote motor in a fucking ZR1. But again, this was forced on me. But I'm happy that it did. Again, it rained lemons. I made lemonade. I wasn't about to be like, well, let me just sell it. No, it's a ZR1. When the fuck do people like me, morons, have access to a C6 ZR1? And then have access to the best Coyote tuning, and then have access to the best Coyote swap guy. And Jake said it great. We were having lunch at a local spot here, Mediterranean food. He was like, it's an SN. It's a Fox body. We're just going to put my shit that I make for Fox bodies and SNs in your car, the drive kit. And it's just going to work. You're going to do air-to-air. You're going to do twin turbos. You're going to route it nicely. You're going to let Ryan do his thing, make it good, code everything. And it's going to be badass. And it's not going to be that hard. Trust me. And I was like, when he says that, it makes me go, I believe you. I've seen the shit you can do. As a matter of fact, the idea that he has for he bought his old Cobra back. He had this 96 and 98 Cobra that he sold way back in the day when he saw himself not needing it anymore. And it made its way around Ohio and all this other bullshit. And now it's back in his possession. The plan that he has for that, I hope he lets me document. I think you guys would be blown away at the cool shit he's about to do. Well done on the ZR1 progress. Love that swap. We off the 3rd and the 4th. Gotta love it. Exactly. We going to see it run NA before turbos? Hell no. Hell no. An NA Coyote on a ZR1? Hell no. It's going to be right to turbos. Alex, the camera was still good for the time. It shows the growth of the channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I feel bad that when you go back in time, you could see like just bad camera work quality wise. But then as I've gotten better and with better mics and sound and stuff, I'm hoping that whoever comes across my channel for the first time, especially like on the Street Alpha people, they're like, oh, this guy went from shit to like halfway decent. Still in a can. He lives in a can on the side of the road. It's all good. We happy you did it too. Robo Style, you're a bit early for talking shit Tuesday, aren't you? The haters aren't going to become fans when the ZR1 is done. It's almost like you had to do it. It's almost like I had to do it. It was like fate. I think everything happens for a reason. You're going to make a lot of Chevy fans mad. It's going to be hilarious. What would be considered the best decently fast street car? What would be considered the best decently fast street car? I don't know what you mean by that. It could have only been you. Right. It was like, who would have been the perfect person to have this happen to? Me. Because I work for Lund and Jake is probably my best friend, probably my only friend. And I'm like, yeah, it's meant to be. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. So we talked a little shit today about Ford thrusting. It's a Ford representative saying, "Hey, Alex, you're wrong about the amount of units we sold. We sold this many," and I end up looking it up and find out they sold not 19% less than last year, 31 or 32% less than last year. ZR1 is making waves with Nürburgring teasers, so be on the lookout for that thing running quicker than the GTD. Yet again, taking the wind out of the Mustang sales. I can't believe Mustang put all its eggs in one basket, got a race car driver, a GTD built by Multimatic and all this shit, and a production car might beat the race car that Ford tasked Multimatic to build. It's going to be pretty bad if it goes like 6.4. Like if it goes 6:40, 6 minutes 40 seconds, oh, God, why buy a GTD? Jesus Christ, why even bother? All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Have a good rest of your Sunday. I'm going to work on the white car. I'm going to try to get you a video on the white car. I'm going to try to do LRX video because I have a car that I'm messing with the LRX with. And yeah, anything else that popped. And ZR1 video with the throttle bearing. I have a lot of stuff to do this week. So hopefully next week you'll have 2 or 3 videos to process so that you can get updated on what's going on in the garages. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good rest of your Sunday. I'll see you guys on Talking Shit Tuesday. Bye.